Hello my creative friends and welcome to another watercolor tutorial video. In this video we are going to paint fun and easy watercolor cats. Now if you are new to my channel, my name is Sandra Hermans and I'm a watercolor artist and illustrator from the Netherlands. And in my videos I love to teach you how to draw and how to paint and to grow confident with your painting skills. So if you would like to see more of my content, then please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. This way, every time I post new content, you'll get a message so you won't miss anything. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so that I know what content resonates with you and what I need to create more of. So I suggest if you want to start painting with me on these really cute catties, then grab your paint supplies and we can get started. So we are going to start with sketching the outline of our cats. And we are starting out in a very easy way, without thinking too much about how the cat is going to look like. Just draw a few shapes. Circle, oval shaped blobs on your paper. And then once you've done this, have a look at it and wonder for yourself where you think the head of the cat needs to be. And then simply draw on some ears, draw on some paws and a tail. And you can follow along, of course, with what I'm doing here, but you can also try out for yourself where you like to have those paws and legs and tails. Make it very playful. It's the idea that these are going to be like fun and whimsical cats. They don't need to be perfect or realistic. Just have some fun while you're doing this, and there is just no way to be wrong. We're not going to try to make this anatomically correct or anything. And a few of my cats I might draw a bit more difficult, like this one laying down on its back. This one reminds me of my own cat Kiki. She always lies on her back. It's very ladylike. And she's very, very good at chilling. So I'm just looking at the shapes and trying out a few things. I'm not thinking about it too much. Now, to make it easy for you, I am going to create this outline and make sure that you can download it. In the link in the description, I will put it there, so you have something you can trace or like have as a reference for trying this out. But either way, as I said, you can also just try something yourself. And when you are drawing on watercolor paper, then I suggest that you use an HB pencil, because this way it's easier to erase the pencil lines from the paper so you won't have them visible in your end result. And you should note that at this moment I am drawing these lines a lot thicker than I would usually do, but otherwise you won't be able to see them at all. Now, if you like to erase some lines that you don't need, then please use a soft eraser for this. And also try not to draw in too much details, because when you have a lot of smaller areas to paint in, it's going to be a more delicate painting process, and you want to keep it as simple as possible at this point. Now, I decided to draw in the ears and draw the places where I like the nose and the eyes of the cat to be, and other than that, I'm not going to put any more details in here. So as I said, when I'm finished with the drawing, I like to look at the lines that I don't longer need, and I'm using my soft eraser to erase those. And then after that, I grab my kneading eraser, and then I am going to start rolling it all over the paper to lift off those excess pencil lines. So when I'm starting to do that, you won't be able to see what I have drawn, but you should have your own paper and your own outline. so you can perfectly see what you are doing yourself. So just remember, you're not going to erase the entire drawing that you made. You want to have those lines visible for yourself. So now it's time for the fun part. We are going to start with painting. So what I always do before I start painting is using my water spray bottle and wet my paint to activate the paint. And then I have 2 jars of clean water, one to clean my brush and the other to pick up clean water for my paint. So pick any cat that you like to start with and pick any color that you would like. Now you can really go all out whatever you like. You can pick realistic cat colors or you can pick some very bright colors. It's all up to you. And of course you can try to follow along as what I'm doing here. So my first cat, I decided to go with a gray watercolor. So I guess it's a bit realistic still at this point. Now what I like to do, I'm painting with a round brush here, by the way, and I like to add enough pigment and water on my brush so that I can create these smooth lines, and then I'm just like brushing it in a bit very gently, and I'm trying to stay within the lines. So it's a very soft light wash that I'm creating here, and then I like to add some more pigment on the edges and then use some water or some more diluted paint on my brush to brush it out so that the edges of the cat, the areas that we are painting, are more crisp than what's on the inside. So basically just put a light wash on all the cats at this point. And it's like a coloring sheet that we are coloring in. Try to stay within those lines. This way the paint doesn't blend in with the other paints. And especially when we get to the point that we are going to use different colors or that you want to have different shading, then it's very important that you don't touch the wet paint because then everything blends in together. Now, of course, it's not a problem if that happens occasionally. That is giving this really cool watercolor characteristic texture. Only don't want to have it happen too often. So I'm still going for those more realistic kind of colors, although this orange sepia brown is a very bright. Still, I think this is a very nice way to go. But if you like to choose a pink or a purple or blue, that's totally okay. This is your art print that you're creating, and just try to get creative and feel what you would like to do. So with this cat, as you see, it has got these legs, and to be able to really make them stand out, you must try to stay within those lines so that you can have the background with darker colors, and so those legs pop out more in the front. So I'm adding a bit more paint at some places and not cover everything, just to make sure that you have some shading and it gives the cat surface some more depth. So I like to have my cats, I'm trying to create them all in different colors. That's something you can also decide to do, just have them all in one color. That's totally fine as well. So as you can see, by the way, I covered the eyes and the nose because, as I said, it feels like a very delicate procedure to go around them, and then you see those harsher brush strokes on the face of your cat at the point where you try to go around the eyes and the nose. The only thing I'm leaving open here are the triangles in the ears of the cats. This is an artistic decision. You can totally go your own way. And if you have created a light wash, you probably would still see those pencil lines where you want the eyes and the nose to be, so that later on, with some darker paint, I always choose indigo blue for this, you can still cover those on top of your paint. Of course, at that point you need to make sure that the first layer of paint has completely dried. Otherwise, everything's going to blend in together and you don't have good visible eyes and nose. So for this one, I picked the same color as the cat at the top right. And I feel that at this point, I think that's okay. So perhaps the one at the right bottom is going to be gray, and then I have everything balanced out. So later on, when we're ready, something that I always love to do is add pencil for some texture and extra color. And what I could do then is pick different colors for those cats. So even though they've got the same base color, then in the end result they still would look different. Of course, this is something you can do with watercolor as well. So this cat has got that really silly pose lying on its back. So also for this, to really make sure that that shape is coming out right, you have to stay within those lines so that you can have spots where there is a darker paint, where you have got some shading, and places where you've got some lighter areas as well. So yes, the top right, no, the lower right, the bottom right cat is going to be gray as well. And I think at this point I'm going to paint it a bit darker. So it's the same gray, only I'm using more pigment. You can play around with this as well. And once we are finished with painting this first layer of the cats, it's time to add some details. So with some pink, you can paint in those triangles for their noses. And I am using some indigo blue here to paint in those eyes. Well, I'm actually painting the outlines of the eyes. And then I'm letting it dry. And then with the same indigo blue, and of course my teeny tiny round brush, with the tip of the brush, I'm gently drawing in those lines here for the cute mouth of the cat. Now this really is one of my favorite parts of painting, because once you add those details, then the painting, and in this case the cats, really come to life. They are going to get their character. So for the next step, make sure that those lines around the eyes are completely dried. I'm picking some yellow and I'm going to paint in within those eye shape that we have painted before. You don't want to have the paint blend in together. I mean, I really like to have the cats have all the same eye colors and have them really bright yellow. Of course, you can decide on other colors as well, or even try to mix and match. But I personally, at this point, love to have a few same qualities in those cats to really have them make a perfect fit together. So with that same teeny tiny brush and some indigo blue, with the tip of my brush, I'm just creating some dots on those mouths of the cats where the whiskers are supposed to be. And then also I like to add some toes on their paws, just like these really cute details, making a difference here. So now for that cat at the left bottom, you can see like the bottom of its paws. So I'm putting some circles underneath there so that you can actually see that it's the bottom of those cute feet. Now I am grabbing some dark brown, some burnt umber, which is the color of this cat, only now I have it more pigmented. And I am adding some details. So for this one, I decided that it has got some stripes. And I'm not even thinking about it too much. I'm just gently putting some stripes here and there. Maybe that I am thinking a bit about how my cats look like and where they have those beautiful patterns and try to replicate that a bit. But I'm not thinking about it too much. I really love how this one is coming together and it's really starting to look like my Kiki. Now I like to create a bit of a wash here, so I am tracing those lines with highly pigmented paint on my brush, and then I'm cleaning my brush, putting some water, and then I'm brushing it out a bit. This way you've got some nice shade. Now when the yellow paint of the inside of the eye has completely dried, again you really need to make sure that it's dry, you can add some pupils of the cats. And I like to go for those really edgy oval pupils in those eyes. And again, I'm choosing for all the cats to have the same type of eyes to create some kind of unity and making sure that they fit together. Now, at some cats, I like to add some thicker lines with indigo blue, and I see I missed some on the paws. And I'm going to continue with creating really nice unique cats, giving them some texture, cover them with stripes, and I think I'm going to give some of them spots as well, or make them furry. You can play around with this however you like to. Create your own furry little friends. Perhaps you've got cats of your own and you like to have at least one of them resemble one of your cute cats. That's also a very nice thing to do. So for this one, I think it can have some more depth and it needs to have some more pigment on there. And it's going to be a very furry friend, this one. Okay, so this one is the one I'm going to give some spots. Again, I'm not thinking too much about where I'm going to place those. I just like to spread them out all over the cat. I'm also using some dark brown, burnt umber for this. And I'm really loving how these cute friends are coming together at this point. So you can also add some hairs or like fur details. So I like to do this for this furry friend. Now for this one I'm going a bit bold. I'm using a very dark pink here, so that's not really a realistic color again for a cat. But still, I really think that it fits with the entire composition. So what I'm doing here is brushing some really highly pigmented strokes and then using some clean water on my brush to brush it out. So this way you've got some nice shading as well. So this head is going to be a bit different than the others as well. So you can do exactly what I'm doing or try to follow along. You can try to look at your own cats and see how they look like. And of course you can also look at reference photos that you find on the internet, perhaps Pinterest. So I have put some burnt umber in that cat there as well. So I really love how those color combinations coming together. And now I'm wetting my brush with some pigmented gray, and I am going to upgrade that cat in the left corner at the top, making it a bit darker at some places, adding some shading with that gray, adding a few more details as well, also doing something with that head like this. And now giving some fur at this cat down below here. And I'm going to do that in a bit of a striped pattern. So really I'm trying to have all the cats look different. And I'm really happy at how this is coming together at this point. I hope that's the same for you, that you are happy with the results so far. So now to really make this very awesome, grab your white gouache and a tiny brush and add those white details on the eyes of the cats. Oh my god, aren't you just loving how this is coming together? Okay, I think this is my favorite part. I've got many favorite parts when it comes to creating art. It's just that at a point like this, you can get very excited when it all comes together. So putting some white on those cute noses. So now it's time to let it dry and then move on to add some more details. So the first thing we're going to do, you need a pigment marker for this. I'm using micron marker. And then add those whiskers on the sides of the faces of those cats. And I am doing 3 or 4 whiskers on each side of the faces. And now it's time to grab your pencils. Of course, this part is completely optional. If you like to keep this a watercolor art print, then that's totally fine. It's just something that I like to do, to use pencil to add some more texture and also create some different colors on top of what I've already created. So what you can do is gently create some strokes alongside the edges or all over your cat very gently to create some shading and to create some texture. What you can also do is use your pencil to add some more details. So for example, with the point of your pencil to create some extra fur. And also mix around with the colors that you like to. So at this point, it's also personal preference. Try out what you like on your cats. Play around a bit. And when you're finished, of course, don't forget to sign your art. Yay, so we are done with painting these really fun and easy kits. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you are satisfied with your result. I would love to see what you have created, so please don't forget to share it on your social media and tag me at Sandra Art Studio and use Create with Sandras as a hashtag. So this way I can see what you have created. And if you have any questions, you can always send me a message. And if there is more that you like to paint, I have plenty of videos on my channel, so go check them out. And I hope to see you in the next video.